Well, welcome to week 3 of prison for me. I'm still, if you're watching this, I'm still not allowed to post on my Medium Mike Cavalli page for heinous crimes, of which are, as far as I know, undisclosed right now. Actually, alleged copyright infringement, but it's all alleged,
Mike.
and so we have Napoleonic law, which is guilty until proven innocent. Um,
Well,
so we're
yeah,
shuffling around. I just want to say, Linda, before you uh, get into some really good stuff, over this week I've been really looking at a way of getting out of Facebook and having a dedicated website that we can do this.
mm,
And I found a way I can do this because censorship now on this platform is getting absolutely beyond a joke, because the
yeah,
few posts that I do put up now, innocent ones, like last week where this little bird landed on this dying man's bed and the nurse took the picture and said, "Oh, look, he used to feed this bird all the time, now he's coming to pay the respects." Partly false information.
wow,
They are pulling up everything now.
yeah,
Um,
that's right.
and so opinion seems to be not going in the direction that they want it. They don't want opinion.
Yeah,
So I'm looking for a system called OBS, Open Source Broadcasting System, to find a dedicated website so that we can do this. I'll just build another
mm-hmm,
website because I was also told this week from upstairs, and it's not for me to tell people what to do. I'm just telling you what was said.
yeah,
We have got to remove ourselves from all these big things, Google, YouTube, Facebook, because without us, they're powerless. They're
that's right.
absolutely powerless. And we're
Yes,
feeding them their power by continually using it. And they're stifling our ability to
yeah,
grow, to get people to connect, to understand what the hell's going on
yeah.
in life. So, anyway, there you are. That's my little
Well,
gospel according to Mike.
well, the gospel according to Linda, ironics of ironies. Oh my God. Um, I got this post about a week ago, and it said your account has been restricted for 90 days.
Ah,
Please click here to find out why. So I clicked here and it said your post had misleading information. And
yeah,
I'm thinking, what post?
yeah,
So there was nothing there about what post I'd made or, his feedback for, false information or whatever. So what they're doing is they're doing their little schoolyard tanty fits where it's the game of, you're in trouble, but
yeah,
we're not going to tell you why.
yeah.
And that's what I don't like.
No,
Because the first thing, when you've got an issue or you've breached a policy, the law stipulates that you've got to allow that other person the transparency to know what they've done wrong.
yeah,
And these little social media places, it's not a legislative policy or procedure that they're following by law.
yeah,
They're making up their own little schoolyard bloody hissy fits when people don't
yeah,
post something that they want.
yeah,
So I have no idea which post, because I post a lot of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Linda Ray, if you want to go check out my page because it's open, LYNDARAE. So I'm going to agree with you there, Mike. Donald Trump has come out now with his Truth Media or whatever it's called
True
website.
social media, yeah. It crashed on the first day of open testing.
Because everybody's trying to
Yeah,
join it.
yeah,
And you've also got to look who is trying to hack it because
yeah,
they don't want people going
yeah,
there.
yeah.
We look at just last week, Zuckerberg's lost something like $640 million.
Oh,
Oh, dear.
poor soul.
Oh, my God, my heart breaks for the man.
Yeah,
He's worth like 600 billion or whatever it is. But he's starting to lose. He's not the only one. There's a lot of elitists out there now with businesses. They're all starting to crumble.
yeah,
Karma's coming their way. That's all I can say. Karma, they say it's a witch with a capital B when it strikes. For some people, it truly is, Mike.
Yeah.
You know, thank God when karma comes my way, you know, I look at the goodness that comes into my life and the goodness that comes into your life. You know, how they were saying that you're about to get fined, and then the week before they start fining you, there's a delay. So that's the universe looking after you.
Yeah.
They're saying, no, you're going to be all right, you know.
Dear old Joan, my gatekeeper
You know,
told me this.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I look at things in my life. You know, the last week I've had, you know, I have not been sick. I've lost my voice because I talk all day. So tonight I'm on the hot lemon and honey. This is hot lemon and honey tonight. It's nice and warm, but I don't need it to be warm because it's presently 28 Celsius here in Australia and I'm cooking. But I'm going to drink that tonight during our show because I have got still a sore throat. Yeah, but, you know, we've got to look after our self-care, which is what someone commented to me on YouTube the other day. You know, if you've got a sore throat, you've still got to do your self-care.
Yeah.
Look after your voice, etc.
Yeah.
So I've made it a rule or a boundary or just a wannabe. Hopefully it happens. Well,
sorry.
Yep, you're right.
I don't know what happened there, but anyway.
It's all good. These little glitches.
There we
still
go.
Going.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yeah. So I've told myself that tomorrow I'm having a no-go zone day.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything tomorrow. I'm just going to sit on the chair, not talk, and if my phone rings, I'm not going to answer it. Oops.
Yeah.
Which I don't like being that person, by the way, you know, because my phone usually rings about 20 times a day. So tomorrow I've told myself no phone calls. I'm just going to lay and do nothing for a day. You know, it's a Linda day tomorrow. Yeah.
You've got to have me days. It's so important.
We've got to have our me days. Yeah. You know, I can't feel guilty over it. Why? Because, hello, I need my self-care, you know. The only thing I really do want to do is just go up to the shops and get a couple of groceries, but that just says to me, don't stop and talk to the people in the shopping centres, you know, because I do like stopping and talking to people and saying, how you going, geez, I like your shirt, I like your pants, or I like your shoes, to give people those compliments when I'm out. Yeah. But tomorrow it's going to be a me day. I'm going to be a little bit selfish tomorrow, Mike, you know, because I've got to look after my voice.
It's being noted, Linda. Being noted.
It's noted here too, darling.
Well, anyway, look, we got a hell of a lot to get through today. I just want to tell people what's going on. We got this new segment with Caterina about the paranormal news, mainly sort of show busy stuff. Then we got, I think you gave me this, the car park ghost. Some poltergeist activity in the house, which isn't scary at all, but it's very visual and very clear to me. Yeah. We've got the NDE of Jeff Tolly. Well, it's the suicide NDE of Jeff Tolly. And just in this case alone, it dispels the myth that if you commit suicide, you go to this woo place when you die. Appears not to be the case with him. We got the hitchhiker angel, the work of Christopher Allan, which is a great excerpt, and then I've put at the end a little table tipping sequence, and it's an energy transfer. And I just want to say that we call it ask Joan to do a little dance. Joan doesn't dance for anyone, but it's our colloquial way of saying, can you do an energy transfer? And I'll remind the people again, but when you see this, to ask you if you pick up anything from this energy transfer that you're going to see. So, anything to add?
It's going to be a good show, darling. No, let's get into it,
darling.
Let's
get straight into it. Let's see what Caterina has to say. Here we go.
Everybody, my name is Caterina Campagna, and I'm here to bring you the Open Door News segment. You know, the news that makes you go, ah! Brr, or simply, I can't believe no one else is talking about this. Well, some people are, in Texas, that is, because in February of 2022, this year on the 4th, a hotel burned down that has a lot of historical lore around it. It's said to be haunted because there were satanic rituals taking place there. It was initially called the Great Northerner Hotel, built in 1905, and has become since known as the DeSoto Hotel. Now, a little bit of lore about it that was actually tangible. Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, was said to be a guest of this hotel. He died in 2013 on death row. Now, the mass murderer was also joined by demonic forces in the hotel. There is something called the Thing in the basement. Now, people who leave the basement have been pinched, scratched, slapped, and bitten, and their bloody bruises are visible on their skin after daring to enter that place. There is also another ghost. She is said to be a little bit more friendly. They believe her to be a child, actually, and she has told people on tape that her name is Sarah. Then there is still yet another infamous ghost that roams the halls, and they say that that is one of a demon, and he's been caught on audio saying, "Who cares?" I guess it's true what they say, that apathy is worse than hate. Now, the ghost hunters have visited this hotel, but it's no longer there. It's burnt to the ground under mysterious causes. What do Stevie Nicks and Salma Hayek have in common? Well, aside from their luxurious locks, Salma Hayek and Stevie Nicks have had run-ins with ghosts. Now, Stevie Nicks had hers in 2012 after a bad acid reflux disease issue, and she heard her departed mother speaking to her saying, "It's all the Gatorade that you've been drinking." Now, although it wasn't Gatorade, it was Hawaiian Punch. The singer did take the point to heart. And Salma Hayek really told Allan recently that she has had 20 ghosts in her house. Now, she was maybe not too terrified because in Mexico they do have the celebration of the Day of the Dead, La Dia de los Muertos, and so she might have been a little bit more prepared and able to have a better understanding of what was going on. Now, she called in a medium after the hired help that she had just hired all left her estate because they couldn't take the ghostly activity. And her daughter did also report an encounter with a nun. Now, the medium told her that the nun could stay since she had good vibes and only wanted to stay and be a force for good in the house. All the other 19 were evacuated by the medium. Another celebrity who has had ghostly encounters is Kesha. She wrote a song about it called Supernatural. Now, she says that one time while she slept, a ghost had intercourse with her. In the past, in medieval times, people called this a demon known as an incubus. They said that it was responsible for birth defects and could even cause death. Now, Kesha isn't going anywhere anytime soon. It seems that she has a show coming up called Conjuring Kesha on Discovery, where she hopes to probe all the paranormal depths. She's also had an encounter with aliens, hence one of her other pieces of art, where she has an album cover of a woman in the desert with aliens overhead. She says that she was inspired by her experience at Joshua Tree, where she was completely sober, looked up into the desert sky, and saw about 7 or 8 flying saucers. Now, she then looked and they came back. They had gone, came back, and changed formation. So Kesha's one to watch. She even has a podcast called Kesha and the Creepies on Amazon. Johann Georg Faustus was born in 1480, and he became an alchemist during the German Renaissance. He was also an astrologer and a magician. He was said to have become so bored with life that he made a deal with the devil to control the demon Mephistopheles, who is the prince of hell. Now, he sold his soul and he got what he wanted. It is said that he received vast knowledge and was able to travel far and wide. And he was also said to be able to charm and seduce young, innocent women. Now, he charmed one, the story goes, named Gretchen. They had a son, and it destroyed her life because she realized what her boyfriend had done, and so she killed her son. Now, in these days, they say that more people have gone in league with the devil in exchange for short-term rewards. They are said to be called the Illuminati and are incredibly high-powered celebrities, and some say it's even connected to the sad 27 Club. That's all for now. Have a great week. It was awesome spending time with you. And remember, stay curious, my friends.
I'm having a little laugh to myself there because Kesha sort of seems to have really enforced the fact that Joshua Tree, I was completely sober, meaning her default position is not to be completely sober. But a lot goes on at Joshua Tree. If you listen to Coast to Coast AM, they have the big once a year Joshua Tree meet up there for UFOs.
Well, I'm still laughing at Selma Hayek where she says she's got 20 ghosts in her house. I'm jealous because I've only got 4.
Yeah.
You know, I want 20. Well, I'm actually thinking I've got about 20 here some nights because of the you can hear the foot, you know, the heel toe when they walk. So you know what heel toe of one person feels like. So I sit there some nights and I know I've gotten over 6. So, pardon me. Yeah, but 20 in my house? Damn, I'd never have a shower again, you know? Well, you just put that boundary. Not allowed in my bathroom.
Well, you know, we got spirits everywhere in the house, but I'm actually free from any activity. I've made it very clear I don't want any activity in this house. And
see, you're different to me because I like it.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I like it when I see things move around or my door slams or, you know, as long as they're not hurting me, you know, I like it, you know, because
I don't mind it where I'm working, and you know what goes on in the workplace, they can do what they want, as you say, long as they don't hurt or upset anyone.
That's right.
But my home is my home.
Speaking of, can I just go there with the story that I heard this week about my house next door from Roy? Roy, for those who don't know, he's my neighbour. When I come out my back door, his back door is only about 10 feet away with a small fence between it. Right. So when I moved in here 7 odd years ago, Roy lived in there. He was in his 80s. And about 2 years afterwards, he died of, he had an epileptic fit and died in the house. 3 nights later, I woke up and there's Roy standing at the end of my bed. Hello. No, he actually said, I'm more I said, Roy, are you okay? And he said to me, I'm more concerned how you are. Right. He was a lovely, lovely old man. So over the past 5 years, you know, lights turn on and off all night. There's I see his TV turn on because all his furniture was still in there as a deceased estate because he had no will. So all his furniture was still in there. You know, I'd sit in the lounge room at night and I could hear him clunking his saucepans in the kitchen and that sort of stuff. You know, it was really cool. So about 5 months ago, the house got sold, and I've heard this week when the renovators were in there, 4 renovators put in complaints with the lawyer, because it was dealt with a lawyer. 4 renovators said we are never coming back. One was because he was, you know, in your like bedroom cupboards where you have like a couple of shelves and then you might have a round coily thing, I don't know, whatever you hang your clothes off, your coat hangers, right? So they'd been in there taking out that clothes wranger thing, and they'd taken all the shelving out. They came back the next day. They took it all out to replace it. Came back the next day and it was all back in the walls again. The painters put in a complaint that they came in with all their paints. They set it all up. They did all their taping around the edges. So the next day when they came, all they had to do was take off the lids and paint. They came in the next day. The lids are off. And there's words written all over the walls in the paint.
Really?
Get out.
Yeah.
I can imagine that was Roy. You know, so when I was talking to this person who knows through people that know people, and they were talking to me on the phone this week, and I said, you know, when they were renovating that house about 5 months ago, I was pretty pedantic watching it every night because there have been some squatters going in there, etc. But you know, when you're renovating, you know, you put in new sinks, new stoves, new washing machines, you know, new light fittings, new air conditioners and stuff. So I was really watching that house pedantically in case someone went in there to rob all the new stuff that they were replacing. So there was no one in there, Mike, you know. There was no one in there. So for 4 renovators to say we're not coming back, you know, I remember talking to the mower lady that was there one day, and she actually said to me, I don't go inside. That was her, I don't go inside. So, yeah, it's just funny. You know, Roy's still there. He's letting them know that he doesn't want anyone in there. Yeah. You know, I wish I had the money to buy it when it was for sale, but unfortunately, you know, I live here. Yeah. But, he's still pretty apparent in there. Right. You know, 5 years ago he died. So, you know, how long do they hang around for? It's, you know, depends. Each ghost is an individual one. Yeah. But, you know, it's nice to know that he's still in there, you know. He's still active. Yeah. Yeah. He was a lovely old man. I loved him, you know. Yeah.
Super. Okay.
Let's go and have a look at
Roy.
The car park ghost.
We're going to have a look at the car park ghost. And thanks for sending this one. It's very interesting.
Oh, it's all good, well, it's a little topic of debate.
Yeah.
Let's have a little game of is it real or is it fake? Okay. Comment what you think.
What do you think? On the close-up, it looked like it come out of him. I'm not sure. What do you think, Linda? I'm sure you've observed this quite a lot.
I have looked at it a lot, even before I sent it to you, Mike. Yeah. Because, sorry, I've got a sore throat, remember, guys. If I didn't have the experience that I've got, and if I didn't do the investigations that I've got behind me, if I hadn't done the training that I've got, I'd say that was fake. Right. Because it's too out there. But I do have that training. I do have that experience. I do have the thousands and thousands of ghost stories that I've heard and researched over the last 50 odd, well, say 35 years. Okay? I don't think that's fake.
No.
Because, you know, funny, I did a video on YouTube just the other day about hell, and I'm talking about Dan. He died and he went to hell, this character in the show Lucifer on Netflix. And Dan's character in Lucifer, he gets let out and he becomes a ghost, and he actually possesses the body of a man.
Right.
So he's inside this man, and then he gets let out of the man and he goes to heaven. So how, you know, they put these little hints of reality into these shows.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
You know?
Predictive programming as well, yeah.
You know, especially, you know, I love it, you know, like Ghost. I love talking about the movie Ghost with Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore. Yeah. You know, that's got to be one of my most accurate depictions of what really does happen to a person when they die. Yeah. Because he had that option whether to go to heaven because he saw the light. Yeah. He decided under his free will to stay here. And that's what ties me into what Tanya just said. Sorry, Tanya, I'm going to call you out here, because she actually just commented that Roy needs to go to the white light. If it's not something that he wants to do, you know, my neighbour Roy, if he wants to stay in that house and I go in there and say, hey, Roy, go to the white light, he's going to get angry with me. And that's when he's going to start really doing some really bad stuff. So we never tell a ghost to go into a white light. Because if they're staying here for whatever reasons that they know of, then they get very, very upset and start to retaliate. And also, if you've got a ghost who doesn't know they're dead, you're going to send them into a psychological traumatic experience. Yeah. You know, who wants to hear, oh, man, you just got shot and you died. What? Yeah. But I've got kids, I've got a job, I've got a mortgage. Yeah. So it could bring on really, really bad hell experiences for those ghosts. Yeah. So we never tell a ghost, go to the white light, okay? You never tell them. Yeah. No. Okay, guys? So that just clarifies what Tanya just said. So, you know, with regards to what we just saw, I've seen some pretty weird stuff over the years, Mike. Yeah. When I saw that, the way that the body, you know, the first guy that's walking towards like the camera and he's got the circle around him, he does this thing as the spirit comes out of him. Mm-hmm. And then as it goes into the other guy, you can actually see that he changes as well. Yeah. You know, if they set that up, that's pretty damn good. Yeah. If they set it up, yeah. And you can also see that there's other people right at the top of the camera, behind the cars. There's people walking around up in there too. Yeah. So it's not like they've shut down it like a film crew, so like a film set. So there are other people walking around. I reckon that one's real. So yeah, I'd like to know what you think, guys.
I mean, if it wasn't coming out of him, could it possibly be a walkthrough? As it were.
Wow. Well, there are walkthroughs. You know, is it a ghost or is it that guy's soul doing a walkthrough? Yeah. You know, because, you know, we do hear that there's walk-ins with souls. You know, I'll probably do a video on soul walk-ins at some point. I'm just writing this down, walk-ins with souls. Because, you know, when we decide that we don't want to keep going with this existence, we've got two options. You know, we end this life. Or we get another soul take over, you know, and there are repeated stories out there that are verified where a new soul has come in because they just don't remember. Yeah. You know, we look at amnesia, you know, classic amnesia where people just get their memory wiped and they wake up and they know how to play the piano, they know how to speak French or, you know, they do something that they've never done before, but they have no memories of who they were before. They're walk-ins. Yeah. You know, they're walk-ins. Yeah. And, you know, where that person just wanted somebody else, you know, it's like the tag team. You're in now. Yeah. So how do we know that wasn't a soul transfer either? Yeah. You know, souls being transferred around from one to the next. But you know, the way that the body jerks as it comes out, I think it's real. Whether it's a ghost or whether it's a soul. Yeah. Yeah, very, very interesting footage. Yeah.
Well, just before we move on, Tanya asked the question, walk-ins are usually aliens though, aren't they? My experience is I know somebody that had a walkthrough that was a reptilian. But I don't think it always has to be. And
No.
we was also taught about over 10 years ago, I was told this. So take it just as information. You don't have to like it or dislike it or like him or dislike him. But Putin had a soul change. And my view is this is one of the reasons that we are not at war with Russia just yet, because of that soul change. But that's just my
Yeah.
opinion anyway.
Well, you look at when he first came into power, he was a real cretin.
Yeah.
He was a cretin.
Yeah.
Because I can remember people used to say that, oh, it's the cretin in the Kremlin. Cretin in the Kremlin. But look at him now; he's really compassionate. He's had a change. So there can be aliens that do walk-ins. There can be other souls that take over.
Yeah.
And how do we know it's not angels either?
Yeah. Yeah.
Angels do their work through humans every day.
Yeah.
So it could be angels that even come and be a walk-in.
Yeah.
They walk in the person's life for 5 years.
Yeah.
And then that person just wakes up and says, wow, what's just happened for the last 5 years?
Yeah.
Amnesia. Yeah. Hello. So it could be anything that comes in.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okie doke.
Yep.
All right, well, let's move on to our poltergeist sequence. And this isn't scary at all, by the way. I think the name poltergeist is more scary than what we're about to see. But there are certainly very, very visible moving objects. And again, you're far more experienced, Linda, than me at this. So I value your opinion. But let's have a look at it and see what everyone else thinks. Here we go.
When I hear things move around my house, I'm the first one that goes out there and says, just in case they've smashed something, But she just walks in too nonchalantly. She really does. She's too nonchalant about it. Unless it's something that happens all the time. For me, I'd be walking in like that. Oh, God, what have you done now? What are you children doing? Because that's how I...
On the other hand, she's like everyone else with that damn phone in their hands. That's the whole focus is there, and you're just not paying that much attention to what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, unless there's a string on the coffee pot or on the cabinet opening, which a very thin fish wire, which we can't see. Yeah, I mean, I agree with Tanya that the puppy crying is something that that concerns me. I don't know. It's a very good fake if it is one.
That's right. The next one, let's go to the second one, Mike.
Yeah.
What's the thing that comes out of the bedroom?
Yeah. Let me find.
What
this.
is it? Okay. When you look at those two things that go wee off the table,
Yeah.
it's actually the back one. It's like a triangular, whatever it is. It goes to her phone and drags the phone with it.
Right.
So it's the back thing, not the phone. If it's got a string on it,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Pardon me, that's the thing with the string. Making it go that way. Okay?
Yeah.
So it could be that, but I don't think so, because if you watch the tablecloth, it doesn't move at all.
Right.
If there was a string, the tablecloth on the ends would be moving around.
Right.
So I think that one's
point.
real as well.
Super.
I'm thinking that one's real. Her reaction was gold.
Yeah.
Good thing there's no audio, because it would have been
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I actually like that one better than the first one.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Only because we've got that real, like, genuine jump of surprise when she realised what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I like that one. Okay.
And Mike, I'll reply to your comment when the show ends and tell you my thoughts on the Putin thing. But anyway, okay. Let's move on, Linda.
Yeah. Yeah, where are we going to now? We're going over to the Hitchhiker Angel.
No, the NDE of Jeff Tolly or Jeff
We
Tolly.
haven't looked at the Hitchhiker Angels yet.
You want to do that one first?
Well, that was in your list of how you send them to me.
Ah, okay. Then.
Yeah.
As Captain Picard would say, make it so. All righty. Let's go and look at the Hitchhiker Angel. It's a very inspiring story. Here we go.
Hello, my name is Linda Markowitz, and I'm here to share a supernatural story with you. This story goes back a ways. My youngest daughter, Michelle, had been in some trouble with the law, and she had been sent to juvenile detention in Albany, New York. I was living in Harrison, New York at the time, about a 2-hour drive away, and I was only allowed to visit Michelle on the weekends, only for a short period of time. And I started out for my regularly weekly visit, but I was very quickly overtaken by a huge snowstorm. It was blinding snowstorm. And I was just determined I was going to go anyway, so I just continued to go. I was moving, but there were cars on the side of the road that couldn't make it any further, but I determined if I could move, I was moving. And I was going, almost the only car on the turnpike, and I saw this figure ahead of me. And when I got closer, I realized it was a man walking, and I drove past him, and I just felt compassion for him. I thought, I just need to give this guy some help. There's not another car in sight. So I stopped and waited for him, and he finally approached my car, came from the back of the car around to the driver's side, and he said, "What can I do for you, ma'am?" I thought, what can you do for me? You know, I'm not the one that's freezing. I said to him, well, I thought maybe you could use a ride. Would you like a ride? He says, oh, I'd be so grateful for a ride. Would you mind? And so I said, come on, get in. And so he got in the car. Now, this has been many years ago. Probably wouldn't pick up a hitchhiker today, but it was much safer back then. And he got in the passenger side of the car and immediately took off his boots and his shoes, his boots and his socks, I'm sorry, and his feet were blue. He was really cold. He didn't have a decent jacket on. And he looked a little scrappy, and his hair was a little long blonde and sort of matted, and snow of course made him look even worse. And we just began to talk, and he told me that he was in the service. He said, I'm in the service. That's what he said. And he said, I just finished an assignment in Hawaii, and I came through New Jersey and couldn't get transportation to my next location. And I said, where's your next location? And even that, I thought that was weird. I thought, of course you can get transportation out of New York. I mean, you can get anywhere out of New York. But he said that's what he said. So he told me he was going to Boston. He says, I have an assignment in Boston, and I have to get to Boston. Well, I had determined how much further I could take him before I would need to turn to go to Albany, and he would go a different direction to Boston, and we continued on this very, very slow journey. Well, I came to a rest stop, and I thought I really needed to call the facility where my daughter was at to tell them that I was going to be really late and to beg them for mercy to let me still get to see her, because I only got to see her one day a week. And they knew about the snowstorm, and so they said yes, they would still give me my visit when I got there. Well, I pulled off to the rest stop, was in the phone booth making the phone call, when I all of a sudden sort of came to myself and realized I had left the car running because the man was still really cold. I thought I'd leave the heat on. And I left my purse in the car. And I had this flash in my brain, this was years ago where you still had to use phone booths, you didn't have a cell phone, that he had everything I owned, and if he wanted to just take off, there was no way I could get back to the car fast enough. But I just finished my call, what could I do? And I walked to the car, got in the car. I did glance at my purse to see if maybe it looked okay, and it appeared that it had not been touched. And we continued to talk on the way to our destination. And he told me some really fascinating things. He told me that there were things that were going to come in my life that would be interesting and difficult. And I thought, you don't even know me. How in the world would you even say such a thing like this? And I let him talk. I didn't ask him questions. I just let him talk. And we went a ways longer, quite a ways actually. He was probably in my car a total of probably 45 to 50 minutes until we came to the place in the road where I needed to go one way and him another. And I said to him, this is where I need to let you off. And he said, okay, I understand. And he looked back to me before he got out of the car. And he said, I will see you again in a day when you need me the most. And I thought, you are really weird, and I'm glad you're getting out of my car. And he got out on the passenger side and immediately disappeared. He just immediately disappeared. And I thought, oh my goodness, the snow was so blinding and it was building up on the side of the road. I thought maybe I was just too close to the edge of the road, and maybe when he stepped out of the car, he just slid down an embankment. So I got out of my car, ran around the back and went around, and I was absolutely overwhelmed with what I didn't see. I did not see one footprint anywhere, and I did not see the man. I looked everywhere. I looked all around. The snow was still very heavy, and I looked everywhere, but there were no footprints anywhere. And I stood there, and this powerful presence of warmth just came over me. And I just knew then that I had had an angelic visitation. I didn't know why or what purpose it would serve at that point in my life. Later, I had a real clear understanding why he was going to Boston, but at that point, I didn't know anything. And I got back in the car. I couldn't even move for a while. I just sat there and pondered the things that he had said. And the last thing he said, that he would see me again at a time when I needed him the most. And I asked the Lord about that and began to understand a little bit over time that the Lord had given me this angelic visitation, this scrappy looking, sort of military looking guy. He was not particularly handsome. He wasn't big and huge. He looked like a normal man. But he had a countenance about him that was so attractive. It was so inviting, that's the word. I wanted to look at him more than I did, but because I'm driving and I'm driving in a snowstorm, I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention to him face to face. His voice was like soothing water. He was very gentle spoken, very kind and very gentle spoken. And as we parted, and I discovered that something supernatural was happening for sure, because if you get out of a car when there's 12 inches of snow outside the door, there's going to be some evidence you stepped in that. And there was none anywhere, not anywhere on the passenger side of the car. Not a single snowflake had been interrupted or disturbed in any way, shape, or form. He just left. He just disappeared. I guess he went to Boston. And I was so overtaken over time with the Lord sharing with me that we have angelic forces around us all the time. We don't see them, most of us never see them, and I've never seen another one. But I became very aware of how tangible that power is for us, that God prepares that for us and that we have access to it as it is necessary and needed.
Indeed. We have access to it, and we only have to just start becoming conscious of it. And I agree with Tanya. This was an angel, a beautiful, beautiful story. And what's interesting is that the evidence about this is, again, if you believe her story, and he comes in such a way that she can actually see the evidence, i.e., no footprints anywhere. So, whatever has happened there, they're handing it to her on a plate. Now if you don't see this, then we can't help you.
Here in Australia, it's very rare to see snow. But when I was in Maryland, we had a 4-foot snowdrift came through overnight. Mm-hmm. And it is extremely hard not to leave evidence that you're in snow.
Right.
Even an inch of snow, you stand on it and turns to like this mush water thing. Yeah. So it's very apparent if you step in snow. So if she's looking down and there's no footprints, I firmly believe that, because I've been in the snow where I've seen that personally. But what a great story. Yeah. She leaves us with that hope where he says, I'm going to see you again one day. Yeah. Obviously, that hadn't come at the time of when she recorded it. So she's still got this hope that he's going to come back again one day. Yeah. And she'll see that same man and she'll go, hey, it's you. Yeah. I hope it's not a day. And they will both laugh about it. Yeah. And I've got a feeling that it's going to be on a day when she's not so well. He'll be coming back to let her know that everything is all right because now she knows he's an angel. Yeah. But so he won't just turn up on the side of the street because she'll say, hey, you're an angel. Yeah. So I think it is going to be something like life-threatening where he comes in. Yeah. He may save her from an accident or something and she'll say thank you to him.
What was the name of that program, Linda, with Michael Brandon in the 80s, I think, where he played the part of
Heaven, oh, God, Michael Landon. Here we go. I'm going over to... What is it?
Heaven.
Did someone say? Heaven. I don't know. I'll have got to look it up. Michael Landon.
Something. He was an angel, wasn't he? And he just turned up in places where...
Highway to Heaven. There you go. Highway to Heaven. Yeah, what a great show. And that guy that played the, with the beard, whoever he was, what a character. because he didn't believe half the stuff that he did.
No.
You know?
Yeah.
even when it was going on for a couple of years, he's still like, still don't believe you're doing this stuff, you know? So he was very humbled, that character in that show, the human, you know? Yeah, so I used to watch that.
Yeah.
Not constantly, you know. I didn't binge on it every week like when it came out, you know, but I did see the odd show of it. Yeah,
likewise.
It was good.
Yeah.
You know, we need our angel shows on TV to give us that hope of what's better out there, you know?
And
wow.
Let me say before we move on to the NDE of Jeff Tolly, again, it's a call to action. If you have had an angel visitation or a divine intervention, an NDE, an OBE, a DBV, whatever V you want to call it, if you've had a spiritual experience, we'd like you just to sit in front of a camera like that. It doesn't have to be that professional. For 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes, give us the nuts and bolts of your story, because it does help people with closure. It does help people understand that their loved ones are over the other side, or that there was divine intervention, and that this reality that we live in isn't as black and white as what we see it. If we open ourselves up, we can collect that help that's being offered. So please speak to me or Linda, and we'll help you get this going. So, and then
I'm just trying to save my voice here, Mike, because it's sore.
Yeah.
So I'm just nodding in agreement.
Yeah, that's okay. All right. Well, I mean, let's get on with our next segment, which is the NDE of Jeff Tolly.
Jeff Tolly.
I just want to say that growing up a Catholic, you know, it was tough for me in the respect that, you know, we was taught as when we were kids, oh, you must do the sign of the cross past the Catholic Church. Oh, you go past the Protestant church, you don't do the sign of the cross, blah, 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 blah. Oh, and hell's this and heaven's that. And, you know, if you commit suicide, you go to this place that's neither heaven or hell. And it's, you know, you're just in limbo and blah, blah, blah. And then they tell you, you know, you go to hell. Oh, Jesus. So what kind of God am I involved with here? But if we just look at this story alone, it does show that if you do attempt a suicide and it ends up being an NDE, that it isn't the way Christianity shows us it to be. So I'll leave you all to make your opinion.
Can I just add, Mike, you know, obviously when we talk about suicides and attempted suicides, it could trigger some viewers.
Yeah.
So, guys, please know Mike and I are very supportive and understanding of everyone's situations.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want to ever hurt anybody or cause triggers or pain. So if you do get triggered or this does get you upset by what this guy says or anything, please find someone and talk to them about it.
Yeah.
You know, either a professional medical doctor or a good friend, or you're welcome to email me, linda@lindaray.info. Reach out to someone if you do feel that this does trigger you, okay? Because we don't want that in anybody.
No.
You know, we don't show these videos to bring that hurt on. We bring it to give us hope, closure, and most of all to fill us with love.
Yeah, and inspire, because you know, there is so much negativity about suicide attempts and suicide NDEs, and you know, it doesn't have to be that way at all. And here is just what I would say is a very loving NDE under the circumstances that this chap went through. Because let's be fair about this. You know, would this all-encompassing, all-loving God, who's seen his son suffer so much to take his own life, would then punish him even further by saying, "Get down there, you son of a bitch"? No, I mean, this is too earthly. My God wouldn't do that. And I think my God is the same God as everyone else's. But let's have a look, see what you all think about this. Here we go. Let's run this.
My younger brother at the age of 21 passed away. When he died, that really for me was the end, because we weren't just brothers, we were best friends. My best friend / brother dies, and then it totally ruins me. As bad as I was on drugs, it made it way worse. Now I'm, drugs on steroids. It's just like so horrible. And it just got worse and worse. And eventually it led up to me not wanting to be here anymore. Leaving the body was the only thing that made sense to alleviate the pain. July 17, 2010, I had a whole bottle of narcotic painkillers because I know for a fact this is going to end me. And it was like, I don't know, only a couple minutes. Really, it was very, very quick that everything started to come and just go dark. So it was like trickling in. This darkness was starting to trickle in. And I knew that this is it for me. And then white now started trickling up. I'm looking down at the paramedics. So there is a period of about 20 minutes, I feel like, because the paramedics had to come, they had to be called. There was a time frame that is being blocked for me. For me, it was instantaneous. It was black and then white. And now I'm just there hovering, looking down at my body. Holy shit, I'm dead. Like I died. I did it. Like I died. But then I was like, holy shit, I'm not dead at all. And I am so much better than I ever was. Felt like I was secure and that nothing could ever go wrong. There was no anxiety, no depression, no heartache, no guilt, no shame. All the stuff that I carried in my body was completely removed and gone. I was home. I'm looking down at my body, but we're in an ambulance at this point. I'm looking down at paramedics working on me. This is when just kind of the review started happening. Everyone that I encountered, every single other person, I could feel what I had done to them. I'm feeling their pain. I'm feeling their sorrow. I'm feeling their anger. God, there was a lot of that. I'm feeling that from their point of view. And then I'm also feeling those that I did do good with as well. I'm feeling that joy or excitement or things in that nature, more on the positive side. But like I said, way more negative. There was no judgment. I was the judge, jury, the prosecutor. I was everything about the judge of my own life. It was me judging myself on what I could have done better or could have changed. There was this blueprint of my life, and there was challenges put in place for me to overcome. And it was obvious that I didn't pass any. It was obvious that nothing I did actually accomplished anything. And all of these challenges were still there. They were, unfinished. For me, it was just like, I guess not a disappointment, but for me, it was like, oh man, I couldn't even get one thing right on this list. It was obvious that I totally failed. And like I could have done a little better than this. Like if life was the game, I'm very much failed. My younger brother died a year before. He came up to me. He and his bubbly self was like, wow, that was quite the experience, quite the journey, in a very jokingly manner. And then he's like, I want you to come over here. I want you to follow me. Then he brought me into this light room. And this is where there was 3 beings. There was 2 women and there was 1 male guide. So the 2 women, they had like Victorian clothing. And then the guy had tribal clothing. So I do believe that these people were part of the soul family or guides. They did have a glow to them, kind of light energy, but everything out there was light energy. It's just degrees of how bright and how not bright. So they were fair. They were brighter than my brother. They kind of lit up more, and my brother was more kind of dimmed down. These beings told me that you have a job to do. You're not done. You have to complete things. You have a better life that could be waiting for you. You don't have to go back. We're not forcing you to go back, but we highly, highly recommend you go back. From that level, the soul level, there was no choice. It was obvious I'm going back because I just saw how badly I screwed everything up, and I want to go fix it. We have these different bodies, one being emotional, one being mental, spiritual, and physical. The emotional body looked like a blanket, and it was a heavy blanket, a heavy dark blanket. There was memories that lived in the emotional body. I can see flashes of memories. It was like a storm. It really is like the weather system of a body. It was dark and gloomy, and there was flashes of light, and memory was held in the emotional body, not just the mind. So when I saw the mental body, it looked like a donut, like a halo, if you will, but just like a halo that saints have, but mine was dark. It was a dark halo. And it was the same thing. There was this energy flow, like a spinning field of energy around the mind. I didn't really see anything. Like the emotional body was very apparent. Like what was going on there was wild. This just was like a spinning donut of darkness. And then the physical body, it was very dense, of course, because, you know, the physical body takes on toxicity and it was heavy and it just looks sick. And then the spirit body is the electrical system that operates the whole thing. So without the spirit body, you can't even function. These bodies were very heavy and very dense for me, and they just got heavier and heavier. And that I needed to do something about these bodies. I needed to change them. I needed to lighten the load. After that, there was this amazing kind of holographic image that completely surrounded me in this room. And it was my future. And it was like basically the future of Earth. It was very different. It was changed so much that it didn't make sense. Say I was about 50 years old, and you can tell that things were not what they are now. Something big changes the Earth. Like all I wanted to do was die. But now after the NDE, all I want to do now is live. All I want to do now is do my best. Like it changed me to my core. For me, what really helped me was finding something, finding a purpose, finding something more to live for, finding that meaning. You have to give meaning to life. It's not up to life to give your life meaning. It's up to you to give your life meaning. Our destiny is like the theme we chose to play out in life. But the free will is how, in which way we go about that. So we can go about it rich or poor, right? Or we can go about it happy or sad. So that's the free will. But the theme is like, you're going to overall experience this adventure and you can't get away from the destiny of it. I look at the world in this way that I know my neighbors don't look at it that way. I know the people that I'm around, they just don't see it like that. When you understand where you are, why you're here, and what you're here to do, and you start living that out, and really live that out, you are on that true north path. You're on that purpose road. And when you're on that road, that's when that magic happens. That's when synchronicities flow. That's when things start to happen for you. That's when more things show up to expand the level of excitement. And life becomes this exciting synchronistic journey and more like an adventure. When I was at my pre-life, it was like just a life. I was just living or surviving. I wouldn't even call it living. I call it survival. Now my life is a great adventure. Try to find adventure, because when you start living your life from that point of view of an adventure or something to overcome, and when challenges come, you can look at them as, oh, I'm gonna get through this. I'm gonna defeat this. Not, oh God, I don't want to do this again, right? Then life it expands on you, and you can be so much happier. Being who I am now is so much better than the way I was. My God.
Beautiful. What do you think? Wow. I think this is a great story, very compelling and compassionate story. And as I say, just this alone dispels the myth about suicides. But Linda, do you think it was because he was ready? We spoke about the hell loop. And, you know, you can end up in that hellish place if that's where your conscious mind says you want to go, because I'm not ready to heal yet. I want more suffering. But I don't think it's a God that sends you there. That's my point.
No, I don't think it's a God that sends us to hell either. I firmly believe that hell is what we ourselves create. Yeah. And it's like we are punishing ourselves for all our past grudges, regrets, embarrassments, and ultimately our guilt that we hold for things that we failed at in our past. Yeah. You know, someone said to me the other day, they knew this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful woman, the most giving, loving, kind woman. She had an NDE, but she went to hell. What the hell is that about? Yeah. And I said, well, even though she's got this facade of all this giving, it's what she holds on to inside. Yeah, we don't know what her childhood was like. We don't know if there was any sexual assault from an elderly relative. Abuse, we don't know, or abuse. We don't know if she was witness to anything traumatic that she can't even now let go of in her own consciousness, because it's in her subconsciousness. Yeah. You know, my first memory is at 1.5 years old, and, you know, people say, wow, that's really early. So what happened before that 1.5 years? You know, imagine if I'd seen something really traumatic, like a fatal car accident or something, that's still there in the background of my subconscious, but I physically still don't remember it. That could create this hell loop where I feel guilty, or, you know, why did they die, not me type thing, you know, that survivor guilt straight out. You know, there could have been, you know, we don't know what's going through our subconscious mind because it's our subconscious. It's not our consciousness that creates our heaven or hellish experiences.
No.
It's all about our subconscious and our awareness of that, you know. So that's why we become aware of our consciousness, which is our subconscious. So this guy, for what he's talking about, I firmly believe that he was not let me just go there, sorry, my throat. He's obviously holding on to pain from the past, right? Because he went to hell, right? But while he's there and he wakes up, he's realized how he created it. So look at the life he's now creating for himself. And that's what we saw the other week. You remember that guy who said, I was a bad guy. I'm hanging on to all these things. I went to hell and now he's out there as a preacher or whatever he is. Because people who have NDEs, where they go to hell, they see what they're doing wrong in the universe. They're given that glimpse to correct their behaviors and to heal that awareness in their perception of their consciousness, right? Which is, you know, it goes deep. You know, we've all got to sit there and self-analyze virtually every memory that we've ever had and all the ones that we don't remember. You know, why don't I have memories from 2 to 4? What happened between then? So, you know, it is very hard to self-analyze our own lives and to work it all out. But if we're lucky enough to do it and we sit there and we don't have to remember all these instances. You know, as I said in my video the other day, we don't have to remember every instance. No. But as long as we can say to ourselves, you know what, everything you've ever done, thank God you did it, because now you're in this position where you are now, you know, thank God it's all gone before me. So I don't have to hang on to any grudges, regrets, shames, or guilt about what I should have done, could have done, didn't do in the pasts, because that's all what creates those hell loops. And so many people do hang on to these guilt trips because it's something that somebody else has done to them. You know, they form that grudge, which is, you know, oh, my ex-husband used to do this to me all the time. Let it go. It was his perspective. You're creating your own hell loop based on somebody else's actions. So take account for what you did. You couldn't do anything else at the time. You were only doing what you thought was right. So you say all these things to yourself. You know, it wasn't your decision to beat you with that stick. Okay, type thing. It was his decision. Let that go. It wasn't your responsibility. Okay? Because that's how we heal. And then ultimately, when we say sorry to ourselves, you know what, Linda, I'm really sorry that you did that when you were 16. Okay? I'm really sorry that you did that. You were only doing what you thought you were doing. You had no other option that day. So now you heal it and you can say sorry and you can turn to yourself and say, you know what, Linda, because I'm talking to myself here, Linda, I still love you anyway. If we can say that to ourselves, then we're virtually guaranteeing that we're going to go to heaven at some point because we're clearing out all that negative past emotional contamination, because it is a contamination, and we're getting rid of it. Oh, God, sorry, Mike. I'm going to let you talk for a minute.
I mean, this is just a theory of mine, but Caterina spoke about the Del Sotto Hotel and the ghost in the basement that was slapping people, pinching people. What else was he doing? Oh, he's doing all kinds of things there. This can also be a reflection of that spirit's personality on the earthly plane as well. So there's all that stuff.
I always say, Dale, you know, ghosts, they generally come through with the same personalities and characteristics that they had when they were alive. You look at Roy next door. He was a very loving, kind, generous, really shy and quiet man. He doesn't like noises. It's his house. He still feels like it's his house.
Yeah.
So he's got every right to stay there. That's what he's thinking,
Yeah.
because I have spoken to Roy a few times since he's died.
Right.
He wants to stay there. It's his decision.
Yeah.
So when people come in and they're making noises, or, the squatters are in there doing their drugs or whatever they're doing, he doesn't like it.
No.
So he's letting them know, get out of my house, even though it's not his house anymore.
Yeah.
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 So he's the one who's got to come to that decision by himself of whether he moves out or not, But he's generally nice and quiet. For the 5 years, he's been exactly the same as when he was alive. He was a quiet guy. He used to have dinner at 7 o'clock at night. So every night at 7 o'clock, I'd hear his saucepans in his kitchen going off. He used to sit and watch TV all night. So obviously that's why his TV was still turning on every night, because he's still doing those same behaviours and characteristics. We can't say personality, because personality is what we create within ourselves based on society. That's why it's called personality. Okay? We create that through our jobs, our church, our schools, our friends and family circles that we're associated with. So we go back to our characteristics and our behaviours. Yeah. So if someone's naturally behaviour is to be angry, they're going to be an angry ghost. Yeah. Seriously, they're going to be an angry ghost, So, it's all good.
Okay. Before we move on, Linda, have you got your book handy for a promo? Dun, dun, dun. There we are. 5 Years in Heaven, The Teachings of Heaven by Dr. Linda Kramer, PhD.
It's on lulu.com. Okay, if you do want a copy. 369 pages. My near-death experience, 5 years that I died for. Oh, well, hang on. 14 minutes clinically dead. I went home for about 5 years. So I've got my book. I've also got YouTube, Dr. Linda Kramer. I come up on the screen. Go search me out on YouTube if you want to follow my videos on there. I just did one on the hell loop. If you want to talk, if you want to go and watch my perspective of what hell is. So I only did that one yesterday. So there you go, Mike. Thank you for letting me promote my book.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'll just add it here as a comment. So if you go to lulu.com, lulu.com, up in the top search, you can just put in Linda Kramer, and my book comes up there as either the PDF or the hard copy that you can buy. Obviously, the PDF's cheaper. But yeah, I like the paperback because it's got all exercises in the back on how to be a good person and go to heaven virtually. The teachings of heaven. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Alrighty, 2 more segments to go. One of them is very quick, but let's look at the work of Christopher Allan. I'm really quite impressed by this guy.
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
Okay, so first things first, I actually feel like I'm being drawn into this area. I'm actually curious if this week of August actually means something. Right now, it's as if tomorrow is somebody's birthday, but they keep on throwing confetti. That's the first reference that's shown me, and it applies to now. And I feel like it's right here in this little area that they want me to acknowledge how now is to be celebrated. They're also trying to get me to say the name Pat, so I'm supposed to make sure that I go to wherever Patricia or Pat comes up. Right in front of me, exactly where I pointed. So can we get the microphone over to her?
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Thanks for joining me tonight.
Thank you.
How do you connect with Pat? Because I'm seeing my aunt's
I'm
name.
Patty.
Oh, that would be a good reason for why you connect with that name. I feel like they want me to go to you and acknowledge how now is to be seen as significant for our family.
Yeah, Sunday we're celebrating my granddaughter's first birthday.
Awesome. So there's a baby in the family. Great.
Yeah, a few.
They want me to bring up the reference of there's a father that's passed on, so they want me to make sure that I bring up that this is who's coming through that wants me to say I'm a part of the festivities and confetti with the family.
My dad.
And to make sure I go to you. So dad's passed?
Yeah.
Okay, please know he wants to be first in line. He tries to get me to also bring up the reference of like there's twins, or who I would see as being two people that share the same date in common. But they want me to bring up.
My mom is a twin.
Okay. Is she still with us? So so she'll be a part of what we do this weekend.
Yes.
So make sure I acknowledge to Tweedledee or Tweedledum what's up from your dad. That's just the symbol that they show me for twins. So I feel like I shouldn't have said that to you.
No, that's okay.
I'm not calling her dumb or D. I don't know. Just the characters is the symbol of twins for me. Now, they also want me to bring up, they're acknowledging, actually, your dad's acknowledging Alvin, Simon, and Theodore. So there's got to be 3 chipmunks that he wants me to acknowledge being connected to spiritually that he wasn't able to connect with in life. So there's got to be 3 kids that he wants me to make sure I bring up.
Me, my 2 brothers.
Okay. I was going to interpret, I thought you were going to say that in that new generation of children, where the 3 that he did not connect with come from.
His grandchildren.
Okay, but are there 3 that he only knew about the pregnancy, or
Yeah, 3, because my last granddaughter was born after he passed, and he didn't connect with his grandchildren.
Okay,
There's
but
3
would you know if there's 3 of them?
Yes, there's 3 of
Okay,
them.
and that's just his way to be specific and go with what I'm feeling. There's
Yes.
a trio of younger energies that he did not get a
Yes.
chance to connect with.
Yes.
And this is his opportunity to say, I do. I am there. And wherever there's you or wherever there's mom, that's where he comes out, and that's how he connects with him, is through your vibration. Now, they also show me the World Trade Center for some reason, and just bear with me. So they're showing me the symbol of twins, but they want me to bring up one going down, like the South Tower collapsing. Is one of the twins past?
Yes.
Okay. Just their way to bring up symbolically, I guess that would be your aunt or uncle?
My uncle.
He's the
He-
first tower twin to pass, to perish. So that's what your father wants me to make sure I bring up, is that he's got the fallen twin for your mom. So I guess this is the way to make sure that I explain the process of mediumship, how it works for me, and my interpretation on the spot and in front of people. And I'm scared to death to do this right now.
Wow. You are so on.
Cool.
This
Well,
is-
Okay.
How gorgeous.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
see, that's the way he gets. Sometimes I get it in symbols. Like I've mentioned before, if I've got an old lady coming through in spirit, and that lady has got the same personality as my mother, they'll also put my mother there, and then I know this is the same personality as my mother.
Yeah.
If they want to give me a name, sometimes, look, I know everyone more or less knows a John, but sometimes I'll just get the name like that. Other times they'll put a picture, unfortunately, of my brother in front of my face. And then I'll know exactly what they mean. But for me, it's a mixed match. Sometimes it's just like I'm saying it and it's whispering in the inner ear. At the same time, there's images coming in, and it's a right old doodah, actually, trying to sort it all out and talk at the same time. But it's fun, actually.
And I know exactly what you're meaning, Mike, because that's how I get my things too.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes they stand in front of me. I actually do see them as spirits.
Yeah.
And they show me things,
Yeah.
you know. But other times they just come through with these pops of information.
Yeah.
They'll show me, like, you know, if it's a Barry, they'll show me my dad's face.
Yeah.
You know, if it's someone Jean,
Yeah.
they'll show me my auntie,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
If their name was Rose, I'll actually see a rose
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
They show us something. You know, the other day I was doing a reading and I was seeing turtles. And I said, why turtles? And she said, oh, because my auntie's name was Myrtle.
Yeah.
See how
yeah.
they show us something very similar.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've got to learn the symbols as well as when they talk to
Yeah.
us, as well as other messages, you know, that they give us, like touchiness and temperature fluctuations and stuff that they can do when they just pop in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good that, you know, we show these people who are mediums.
Yeah.
Because one thing he did say is we all get our information we all get our information differently.
Yeah.
You know, so you've got to find your own specific way of doing it.
Yeah.
And that I love how he explains his technique, like with the Twin Tower thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's what I do too when
Yeah.
I'm doing readings. I let them know about her. Mwah, thank you for being with me.
Yeah.
And I tell them this is how I'll write things down. So, you know, I'll say to somebody, what's your brother's name? And as I write down, like, John, I get all this information. Oh, I just know he's 46. Oh, I know that he's from Scotland. Oh, I know that he was divorced.
Yeah.
Those sort of things, because I write down the name and then I get information about them, you know. So that's my technique that I like writing notes.
Yeah.
You know, so we all have our own different ways of doing stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, finding out your own way of doing it, that's probably the hardest way.
Yeah.
You know, because we look at like John Edward, we look at like this guy, and you say, oh, I want to do it like him. Don't try to ever do it like somebody else, because we all do it differently.
We all do it different. And,
You know?
and actually each reading will be presented in a different way. Sometimes you might get all symbols, sometimes it might be all of the inner ear, sometimes it's a combination of both. It really depends on your frequency and the person who's having the reading.
Yeah.
So I don't think you should copy. Yes, it's good to look and observe and go, aha, like I do here. I was interested in the twin towers representing twins and Tweedledum and Tweedledee. That'd be so I might say, okay, guys, because we got our mediumship circle tonight. Actually, it's online where us mediums get together and just mess everything up amongst ourselves so that we can practice different techniques. And this is something I might bring in tonight and see how that works. Okay, that may be another string to my bow. It may not, but it's in there. It's in the process. So you just do what you got to do.
It's always and the big thing, guys, as Mike has just said in a roundabout way, and the way that I say it in a roundabout way, it's always a learning curve.
Yeah.
Be very, very skeptical if ever you hear someone and they say, oh, I'm a guru or I'm a master, because, spiritual paths are paths.
Yeah.
There's no destination. We're always still learning this stuff, and that's what's so humbling about it, is realizing that, we've all still got a long way to go with our own personal development, So be aware of anyone who says, oh, I reached the end of the path, I'm at the destination, I know what you're all on about. Be wary of those ones, okay, because they're a little bit egotistical, to put it nicely, so because we're always on our path of discovery and learning, and, I love how even Mike, what he's about to show us tonight, because this is something now that interests me. Not that I would ever do it by myself, because you've got to do these things with a couple of people that know what they're doing, so this is very humbling for me with what Mike is about to show us with his table tipping, because I've never done it. I have no idea what I'd be doing if I did it. So I'd want to be able to do it with somebody like Mike who knew what they were doing, okay?
Yeah.
So, just don't get out a table and say, oh, Mike's doing this, I'm going to try it.
Yeah.
Because I've got a lot of skills, and I'm even saying I won't try it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of
so,
horses for courses type of thing. So I've been doing this for many years. I know Jeanne d'Arc is my gatekeeper, and you're going to feel her energy now. Yes, don't try this at home. This is physical mediumship, and this is where if you mess around with things, you get in trouble with physical mediumship. So it also, if you're taking antidepressants and things, this is a disaster using the table if you're on that kind of medication. So you have to be very, very careful with this. But I'm okay with this. I'm more than okay with it. I'm more than confident with it, because I'm doing it in truth and light. And we're not asking, is my boyfriend coming back? Is my girl?
Well,
we just don't do that stuff.
Can I just interrupt, Mike? Sorry, talking about mystery guests, okay, because we're about to have a mystery guest. I've got one here. I'll just like to show my mystery guest. For those who don't know, here's my cat, Mary. Oh, she just meowed right in the camera.
She doesn't look very
Here's
happy.
Mary, guys.
You.
Oh, no, because she's hungry. I'll just bring her up a little bit. So there's Mary. Just so you can see that I do have a cat. Oh, there she goes. Okay. She's hungry. Oh, she's a good cat. There you go. So we're talking about mystery guests, because she's been sitting here meowing for about the last 15 minutes. So I thought, I'll pick you up. And she meowed straight into the camera, into the microphone. So, oh, you got to love them, because, Mike, you've got a couple of cats too.
I've got a couple. I've got one asleep there and one asleep up there. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, it's all good.
We'll run this.
Good.
So what I want to say is that we talk about Joan or Jeanne d'Arc doing her dance for us. As I mentioned at the beginning, Joan doesn't dance for anybody, but this is our colloquial way of saying, would you like to do an energy exchange? And so what I'd like to say to the people is to let me know if you feel the energy exchange that she's given, because the energy, even though what you're seeing is recorded, it is still energy and it's still in the recording. So you might feel cold around the knees, tingling around the third eye area, a shiver down the back. You might feel lighter. You might feel nothing. Just make a comment.
Allow, guys.
What you feel,
Yeah.
because what you're gonna see here is absolute truth and light. It's only about a minute long, so let's run this. Here we go.
Let's go play it.
That's it for today.
That's it for today. Thank you very much for joining. And I will ask, I cannot promise if she will do it, but Jean, as you're in such a good mood, maybe you can do a dance or some specific moves for, she's already doing, for the audience. This is Dance of Jean d'Arc for you. Wow, thank you, Jean. This was very elegant. Yes. So, thank you very much. Stay well. See you next Tuesday.
Bye-bye. There we are. Dear, God bless her. God bless her. So
Gorgeous.
That was a little energy exchange there that she did. You may pick it up. I feel it all the time. My knees are cold. I haven't got it around the third eye today, but certainly around the knees. And
it's funny how you say that, Mike, because I get, we all get our tingles in different spots.
Yeah.
Mine is my knees as well.
Yeah.
And the back of my shoulders, just here on the back of my shoulders, I get like cold spots there where it's like someone's touching there.
Yeah.
And I just go, woo, I get the shiver just here on the back of my shoulders.
Yeah.
But my knees, that's a big one. So I'm glad that you just mentioned knees, because we all get our feelings in different ways as well. Yeah.
Okay. Super. I mean, just to let the people know, we asked Joan if she would spin the table for a healing frequency for Benny, poor little Benny, the rabbit who passed sadly, who we did connect with. But and so we put this frequency on a loop and had the loop. Benny was on Sandra's lap, and there was the loop of the table just going around, and she said she could see a light smoky cloud coming from the phone and from Benny. So this energy transfer, it's there. Once it's recorded, it's there. It's like everything else. Once the thought is made, it goes out into the universe. It doesn't go away. This is why the universe
I just interrupt
is
you?
expanding. Yeah.
Can I just interrupt you?
Yeah.
You just said the thought.
Yeah.
That's our intention, guys.
Yeah.
As soon as we have a thought of what we want, that's our intention. I have the intention to create this.
Yeah.
So that's what Michael's just talking about, okay? Yeah. Keep going.
So
sorry.
I've just lost track a little bit. Yeah, so
Sorry.
That's all right. So we got this energy coming from the phone. So because it's a recording, it doesn't mean that it's just flat and lifeless. The energy is still there, like in a photograph. We did photograph readings yesterday, and you'd be surprised. You pick up the energy from the photograph, and then you start to connect with the person from the photograph. So it never goes away, it only transforms. And so beautiful Benny got this healing the other day, and helped him to cross the Rainbow
Pass
Bridge.
over.
And
that's exactly right.
He came through yesterday when we did our big table tipping session, and I'm going to give that to Sandra because that's really private. And Denise said this is definitely the rabbit, because she had a rabbit, and the way the table jumped and spanned, she said this is the action of a rabbit. So if you use the table wisely and you ask the right questions, and you do it regular, you will get phenomenal results. And just to let people know that many people are in the 4D frequency now. And it was in between 65 and 70% of the global population. And yesterday we had it confirmed that it's now hitting almost 69%. So it's rising all the time. And so this is great news, because soon we will have critical mass. So,
well, that's right. Well, you can see it. The governments are destroying themselves.
Yeah.
Everything is now crumbling. And, let me just go back to that NDE of Jeff Tolly.
Yeah.
He actually said when he saw his future, the future was so different. And he was only talking about 2030, when he was 50 years old.
Yeah.
So he was saying that he was seeing a future which was so different now than today.
Yeah.
Because, there are a lot of things coming in the next 3 years, or should I say going.
Yeah.
Oh, God, but
Coming
it's not
and
all
going.
good for a lot of people. Well, let's just say, Mike, there's going to be a lot of hurt and pain in this as well, obviously. People waking up and realising the mistake that they've made with regards to certain medical procedures.
Yeah.
I don't like scaring people, but the reality is now it looks like it's given them a certain disease starting with A. It's not, hey?
Hey?
Disease, well, it's autoimmunity disease that people are getting. And, it's horrible that I'm now researching this, and, my chemist across the road now has testing kits for this. $25 across the road. Why? Unless it was something that was created. So, we're not just going to see the downfall of all the stocks, because Moderna and Pfizer stocks are going down through the floor at this point. They're losing billions of dollars a day. But now that these tests are coming out where people are going to have to get tested every 3 months to see if they've got the A word, this is horrible situations for a lot of people. I've already heard of people that have tested themselves and they've got it.
Yeah.
This is horrible. It's destroyed their whole lives now. They don't know what to do. So how many people are we going to see coming out with this A word? IDS. It's horrible. So we have to keep raising our vibration up. We've got to keep loving everybody on the planet.
Yeah.
Don't judge anybody for what they've done, because we were all only doing what we thought was right. We were only doing what we thought we were doing right for our family and our friends.
Yeah.
My family had the thing in the arm because they wanted to see my dad in aged care. They so many people were told, I had to have it for my job. They were only doing what they thought they could do for survival.
Yeah.
So now that it's all falling apart, mandates here and mandates there are all falling apart, don't blame anybody for being fooled, because we're all fooled every day.
Yeah.
But we've just got to remember that when we get fooled and we know that we've been had by people, we start seeing the truth. And it's through that truth that we see that the veil falls down and we see the true reality of this earth, and we see the true humanity that can be unfolded as a consequence of this global war that is occurring now.
Yeah.
So, guys, please know that, we show compassion to everybody. Don't accuse them. Don't judge them.
No.
Don't abuse. Don't attack them. They're about to realize the mistake they've made on their own. So just allow people to be who they are, even the governments, because they are in total shutdown at this point. I cannot tell you there's no governments on the planet holding their heads high and saying we did a good job. They are all shuddering in fear, knowing that the truth is now being released.
Yeah.
So keep your head high, guys. Live in your truth. Love yous all.
Yeah.
Keep loving everybody. Be appreciative and be kind to everybody. Don't judge anybody.
So when we say, love everyone, we mean from here, not here, not the earth, the egocentric love. Just open your heart out without judgment. Send the love, because this is all we have. And be ready to support people, and be ready to be supported also.
That's right.
And together
Yes.
we'll get through this. So
Yeah, that's right. That's how we'll get through it, guys. You know, because the war is already being won. You know, the governments are falling. The governments are falling. You know, people are now looking at the Queen and they're asking, how the heck did she get sick? How the heck did Prince Charles and Camilla get sick? Why is she now taking ivermectin when nobody else was allowed to take it? Why?
well,
Why will
there's
she?
a cruel joke I could say there, but I'm not going to.
I think I know what you're talking about.
But
But at the end of the day, you know, we look now at Donald Trump when he got it 3 years ago.
yeah,
He got ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine, or whatever it was called, hydroxychloroquine. You know, now the Queen's sick and she's taking ivermectin.
yeah,
In 3 days, she'll be better, because that's how long it takes.
Yeah.
3 days, she'll be better.
yeah.
So she'll be out doing her 95-year-old 70th
Stroll.
Jubilee strolls, you know, getting ready for her 70th Jubilee celebrations. And people are going to say, my mum was only 72 and she just died of COVID.
Yeah.
She didn't get ivermectin.
Well,
So they're going to start waking up that they've been denied true medications. I just saw you doing this, Mike, with your pen. It's here, Dal. It's here. You know? But people are waking up to the whole scam now. You know?
I mean, God bless the
so
poor
sad.
old Queen. She's got to come out of retirement and work again, because she's just had to lay out 12 million quid for Sonny Boy. So
For someone he did not know, for something that he did not do. You know, and poor Fergie, Dal, she only got 3 million in the divorce. How much, you know?
you can't make this stuff up.
You can't make this stuff up. So, you know, how would Fergie be feeling now? I only got 3, but you just gave 12 million for someone that you'd never met and you never knew.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, my God. So, wow, the truth is out there. People are starting to wake up to this. You know, the biggest one that I heard this week is we're releasing the names of protesters, but no one's releasing the names of Epstein's clients.
Yeah.
That's a true one, isn't it?
Yeah.
They'll put the protesters' names all over the media and make them out that they're such bad people.
Yeah.
But where's the list of all Epstein's clients in that little book that he had?
Yeah.
Or should I say the big book? You know? Wow. Interesting, isn't it?
Linda,
So people are waking up. We got to go.
I've got to go.
I love
I've
you,
got to go.
Mike.
So,
I love yous all everywhere around the planet, wherever yous are. Have a good morning, evening, or good night. From Brisbane, hopefully next week my voice will be better.
and
Mwah.
from
Love yous all. Have a good
from-
night, guys.
Central Europe in Austria, have a good one, guys. See you all next
Okay.
time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.